So, guys, Silent Hill. Silent Hill had a transmission broadcast they referred to as, where they dropped, this is Konami, of course, dropped a whole ton of Silent Hill news. Not just the remake of Silent Hill 2, there's multiple things coming in the form of new games. There's a new movie coming. There's what seems like another game called Silent Hill F. Silent Hill Ascension, I believe, is a game. Return to Silent Hill is obviously the movie. Silent Hill Townfall is a game. And Silent Hill 2 Remake, which looked amazing. So I'm going to probably pass this over to one of you because I actually have no real history with Silent Hill. I played a little bit of the first one way back on the PS1, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was more a Resident Evil kid, and I didn't really play much Silent Hill. So apart from the new game looking fantastic, the remake, I should say, looking fantastic, and it's coming from a developer called Bloober Team, who I know very well. I know their work from Layers of Fear. One of my personal favorites is Observer, which is a cyberpunk cerebral horror game, which is amazing, starring Rutger Hauer, which is phenomenal. I urge everybody to go check that one out. And most recently, they did The Medium, which was that dual kind of parallel realities kind of thing, psychological horror. So they're very much the horror studio of the moment. And I think they're going to do a fantastic job of this because it's right up their street of slower-paced, more messes with your mind and scary as heck imagery. So, Sarah, do you want to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, sure. I think the Silent Hill franchise is pretty great. I played both Silent Hill and Resident Evil growing up. Well, I don't know if I can technically say I've played them all because it's very much a case of I will play it with other people around, and if it gets too scary, we do a little controller shift over to the next person, which is really fun. I'm so excited. The trailers that dropped look so cool. Like, that was this one where, like, the imagery alone that they were working with is phenomenal, and someone's face just literally fell off, and I was like, this is terrifying. It was wonderful, and I'm so excited. Like, I didn't catch who the artist was that they were collaborating with for that project, but that looked insane, and now I'm like, right, I'm gonna have to do a deep dive into this person's like existing artwork because their kind of style is something that really appeals to me, so I'm really excited for this. Yeah, super psyched.
Jamie?
Yeah, my first experience of Silent Hill was a friend of mine coming into school, and he walked up to me, and I said, "Morning, Ed," and he said, "If I ever end up in a place called Quiet Mound or Peaceful Hummock or something of that nature," he said, "do me a favour and tell me never to go to the hospital." And then the next day he came into school and he said, "Listen, about yesterday, forget that. Tell me to barricade myself in the hospital, but to avoid the school at all costs." And he was just telling me bits and pieces. And that weekend I went to his house and sat down and we played some together. And the old-fashioned, controller back and forth, and just fell in love. Like, it's brilliantly atmospheric. I'm all for a balls to the wall schlocky 80s horror fest, but the stuff that really gets me is the slow creep, plays on your mind. What was that in the shadows type of horror? And Silent Hill absolutely nails it. So the remake I'm very excited about because most of them I've played in bits with friends because back then I was purely PC based, and I used to play them around my mate's place at the weekend on their sort of PS1 and that. So I've played later entries in the series as well, like the one that came out for 360. I'm trying to remember the Room, I think it was, which wasn't.
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was good. It wasn't quite as good as the original sort of thing. But so yeah, I think they've got the right dev team there to do it. I think all in all, I'm just very excited to play it. Like, I love horror games, absolutely adore them. So right up my alley. I can't wait, and I can't wait to make Al play it because he's a big shout bag. So it's going to be great times.
It does, and let's talk a little bit about how good this remake is looking. It looks just outstanding to the point where, okay, wow, like horror games are. Have they ever been this popular before? It seems like we're getting such a great collection of horror games coming out. Obviously, RE4 Remake, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, Silent Hill Remake, and it's like there's just loads of amazing horror games out just now and coming soon, and like it's just such a great time to be a horror fan. And I don't know what game engine Bloober Team are using for this one, but the visuals just look absolutely fantastic. From the opening scene where the lead character, I'm not going to try and butcher any character names here because I'm not familiar with the franchise, but he's kind of like thumbing the palm of his hand, and you can actually see like the skin and muscle deformation as he's kind of moving and applying pressure to his hand. It's like, whoa, we're at this stage of graphic fidelity now. Never mind like the face peeling stuff and the flowers blooming for the other game, but we're getting such grossness and such high fidelity ickiness. It's like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it. I want to play it, but I really don't know. And what I like from the trailer, because I remember hearing about atmosphere about the Silent Hill games, and like the fog was such a prevalent thing, mostly because of you couldn't render draw distances very far in front of you back in the day of the PS1 hardware and stuff like that. Whereas now it seems like, okay, we've got this really dense fog, but it's like really high fidelity dense fog, and it's not just because the draw distances are reined all the way in. So, oh god, it just looks so good.
I think that's part of the reason why we're getting so many great horror games is because we can achieve something visually that we maybe couldn't, like, 10 years ago. So I think it just makes a huge difference in terms of your ability to get completely sucked in and absolutely terrified by something because it can be so visceral. It can be so accurate, I guess, is the scary part is how realistic things can look. I think it makes a huge difference for horror games.
I know, and obviously the like Silent Hill Townfall is we just got a teaser trailer for that. We know very little about that, but it is from the creators of Observation, I believe it is. No Code is a developer, and Observation. I think I remember this one where there's an astronaut stuck on a space station, and the only viewpoint is from like the CCTV cameras, like the security cameras on the space station, and you actually are the space station. I think that's Observation. So that could be
cool.
really trippy if they start utilizing, I don't know, learnings from that game and in terms of atmosphere and tone and camera work. Because we mentioned that on the last episode about how games can freak you out just with camera positioning and audio cues and things like that. So that sounds really cool. And of course, the movie, Christoph Gans is coming back. He is the director of one of my favorite movies of all time, French period piece / martial arts werewolf genre film called Brotherhood of the Wolf. If you haven't seen it, it is incredible. And the movie poster for this game is Bloodborne. It is the hunter from Bloodborne is the movie poster. So check that movie out. But anyway, he is returning to direct a new film based on, I believe it's the Silent Hill 2 plotline. So again, I never watched the movie. Did either of you watch the original movie?
Nope.
I can't remember who was in it. Yeah.
I don't think I did. And I don't know why. When did it come out? Do we know when it came out?
It's 2006, it says here.
Okay. So I was at university.
I mean, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Maybe I was too busy studying.
Yeah, air quotes, studying. Yeah.
Libations.
I know. But hey, any new horror film that's coming out is always a good thing. I would definitely check it out. Jamie's just like spilling tears of blood all over the place here.
It's going everywhere at this point. I'm ruining everything. Sorry. So no, I never actually watched that one. I saw the shots though of Pyramid Head, and he looked fantastic. Like they did a hell of a job with Pyramid Head in that film. Like, the look of it is spot on, and the nurses, because the nurses were particularly fucked up in Silent Hill. Like, they were great mobs. So it looked really good, but I don't think I ever ended up actually watching it. Although I think
actually maybe I did, but
you see, I suspect it's been on at an event I was attending with friends, but I wasn't watching it because I was too busy, probably with the aforementioned libations. Because there's a few films over the years I've been like, I've never seen it, and I start watching it going, I've seen bits of it through a haze. I remember now. So yeah, it might have been that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God, I'm excited. I'm excited for all of this news
Yeah.
for the super fans, and of course it'll be my first experience of a Silent Hill game, so I'm really excited for that. And so much good stuff.